What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about Josh Giddey as he has been on a heater since the All-Star break. The dude's been playing some of the best basketball I have ever seen him play during his NBA career, so we'll show him some love. Then the second half of today's show, let's talk about some draft targets, as it's going to be a very, very important draft upcoming for the Chicago Bulls. But let me get this question out to you guys early on today's show. Would you extend Josh Giddey? I think this is a polarizing question on Bulls Twitter, on Bulls YouTube, and a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on Josh Giddey. So you guys let me know, would you extend him? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comments section. So Josh Giddey, since the All-Star break, has been on an absolute heater. And this is just in 4 games played, but this dude is playing some of the best basketball I have ever seen him play in his career. I mean, 25.3 points per game. 13.3 rebounds. He's been awesome on the glass. And obviously we know Giddey, an elite playmaker, but also my favorite part of his game is the stocks. Combination of steals and blocks, averaging 3.4 per game in 4 games since the All-Star break. But also check this stat out for Giddey here. Chicago Bulls, Josh Giddey, over his last 3 games. 75-plus points, 40-plus rebounds, 20-plus assists, 10-plus made threes, 10-plus stocks, steals, and blocks. No other player in NBA history has recorded all of those in a 3-game span. I mean, incredible stuff from Giddey. And also just the eye test on him. He just looks a lot more comfortable. I think after that Levine trade, I think he's kind of viewed, this team as almost his team. And the Bulls offense kind of operates like that, where, maybe Giddey isn't putting up the most shots per game compared to these other guys, but he is definitely the focal point. He is the driving force. So it gets me to this. I think you need to extend him. So a couple of weeks ago, I put out a video saying the Bulls should not extend Josh Giddey just because of the fact they traded Alex Caruso for him. And I think that was a little bit in the Bulls front office thought process where it's like, oh, we gave up Caruso for him. Well, we need to extend Josh Giddey. And I kind of said, you got to let Giddey prove it over the last, over the last 20 to 30 games of the season. And I think he's done that since the All-Star break. I mean, he's not only, playing very good basketball, he's playing all NBA caliber basketball. And I do like the idea of him being the point guard of the future, but even more on Giddey. And, I always had a tough time saying or thinking to myself, hey, when you think of a championship point guard, on a championship team, Giddey is that, but also his 2 negatives is he can't shoot and he can't defend. Can a point guard who can't shoot and can't defend be the guy who mans a championship group? Well, Giddey, over the last 10 games, he's shooting 56% from 3 on 5 attempts per game. His attempts have jumped up from around 2.5 to 3 during the first 3-4 months of the season to now in February. He is shooting 5 a game, and he's shooting 56%. And I don't know, maybe it's just he changed up his form during the All-Star break, but his whole just shot movement looks a lot faster because I always felt like on the gather up to his release point, it was very, very slow. He's just maybe shooting with confidence, and he's just gripping and ripping the 3-point shot over the last couple of weeks. But I do think the Bulls, their young core, I'm not saying it's, obviously one of the best in the NBA, but I do think it's a lot better than most people think because I love the combination that you will have in Modest Buzelis, Josh Giddey, Ayo Dosunmu, and Lonzo Ball. The backcourt's phenomenal. You got 2 guys who are elite defenders in Lonzo and Ayo, and then you got Josh Giddey being that just offensive generator, and then you got the wing on the perimeter, Modest Buzelis. But you may be asking yourself, Patrick, why are you leaving Coby White out on this list? I think the Bulls need to trade Coby White this offseason. And they need to move off him. I don't normally get up here and pound the table too much of trading this guy, signing this guy. But I think this is a move the Bulls need to make because one, Coby White, I think he has the most trade value out of any player on the Chicago Bulls. He's got a 3-year, $39 million contract. A team like the Orlando Magic, who need an offensive-minded guard, I am sure they will call Chicago this offseason and offer them a first-round pick. And if you could get an unprotected first for Coby White and maybe a young player to help match that salary, I think you'd do it in a heartbeat because also I think the Bulls should build around Modest Buzelis and Josh Giddey. And just kind of see what their or where their potential will take them. Because if you have Giddey and he develops into who we all expect him to be, that 6'8" point guard, floor general, and with the way he's shooting from beyond the arc, I mean, that's a very special player at the point guard spot. And then obviously Notis Buzelis being that defensive-minded wing, hyper athlete. He's already developing just his whole skill set on offense. I think those are the two guys you got to build around. Then you got the fill-in pieces. You got the Ios. You got the Lonzo Balls who can be good rotational guys. But that core four right there, those are the four guys that the Bulls, I don't mean to call them like untouchable by any means, but I think those are four guys you should build around, more specifically Giddey and Buzelis. But I'll ask you guys this. Drop your take on Coby White down below in the comment section. Would you trade him? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. I'm definitely saying trade him. But, hey, if you guys disagree with me, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Now we'll get to some draft targets here in just a second, but first, got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the PrizePicks app today and plug in promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you put your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you put your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. Now, if you guys want to just increase your viewing experience for any Bulls game for the remainder of the season, PrizePicks is the #1 way to do so, because the Bulls, they're going to be getting blown out a lot in these games, and if you guys want to have something to follow throughout the entire event, creating a PrizePicks lineup is a great way to do so. So download the PrizePicks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you put your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you put your first $5 lineup. Massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, let's dive into some draft targets right now. As it stands, the Bulls currently hold the 8th pick in the 2025 NBA draft with a 4.5% chance to land the #1 pick. So I think I'm going to probably all 5 of these guys are probably in the range of 5 to about 15. And the first guy we can talk about here is a guy I love out of Maryland, Derek Queen. He is a big body, and when you kind of look at him, you would think he's just that prototypical back-to-the-basket big, but he's not, man. He's got some playmaking ability. He's super smooth getting in and out of his certain looks that Maryland will run for him. I'm a big fan of his game, and I also do think the center position is one that the Bulls are going to, ideally target this year in the NBA draft. And another center, Malawak from Duke, man. This guy's a freak, 7'2", insane athlete for his size. Now, some cons for him. I don't view him as the most, sound player offensively. I don't love his hands. I don't really love his touch around the rim. But if you just want that typical, like, Clint Capella mold of a center where I'm going to block shots, I'm going to run the floor very well, and I'll catch some lobs, that is Malawak. He is a stud, especially defensively. So I think that would be another good pick if the Bulls could take him at, like, maybe 8 or 9 this season. Now, Dylan Harper, I think he's unlikely for the Bulls for 2 reasons. 1, Josh Giddey is probably going to be the point guard of the future. And 2, Dylan Harper is probably going to be the 2nd pick of the draft. This guy's a stud. He reminds me of honestly reminds me of James Harden. Like, super smooth. He has that nasty step back. He's a lefty. He's a great scorer. He can score at all 3 levels. He's a great playmaker. He's got great touch in the paint area, just on these floaters and these push shots. Like, he truly is a complete point guard. So shout out to Ron doing a good job raising his son. But also Ace Bailey here, polarizing prospect. He's a bad shot taker, but also a bad shot maker, and he's a freak athlete, man. Very good defender, too. I think he's got great upside to be one of the better defenders at the wing position in the NBA. But, there are question marks about his, how intelligent he is playing the game of basketball. Like, does he play winning basketball or does he play more AAU style of hoops? I see a lot more AAU in Ace Bailey's games instead of, winning basketball at the NBA level, but still an interesting prospect where if you would pair him with Notis Buzelis, I don't hate that pairing whatsoever. And then also VJ Edgecombe. This guy's Vince Carter. Freak athlete at the shooting guard position. I think he would be awesome to pair next to. Like, if you went Giddey, VJ Edgecombe, Notis Buzelis, and you filled out your front court, then you had Lonzo and Ayo coming off the bench. That's a solid young core for the Bulls to build around, especially in the backcourt. But those are 5 guys that could potentially head to the Chicago Bulls, but still a story for the Bulls over the last couple of weeks. Josh Giddey playing great hoops, man, and that's just stuff you love to see it. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a C red down below in the comment section. And also make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Keep us locked in as your go-to Bulls YouTube channel. And we'll see you guys next time. Go Bulls.